Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining in. If you're new to the channel, this is Lamont, this is Luno, and this is our Vandora. I'm basically your average guy trying to figure out how to get into van life and how to build out a van with zero experience, just having no idea how to do it, which is a very long, complicated, difficult, and rewarding journey. As I'm going through a lot of this footage, I recognize that there is a lot of figuring out. So I'll go ahead and share very precisely right here what materials I used and why I used them. For my electrical system, for my power supply, a lot of people go with, I think it's called the Victron. My electrical system is from a really great company that makes things really plug and play and make things really easy for people who have no idea what they're doing. It's the first time, no experience, and that company is EcoFlow. I purchased their 5 or 15 kilowatt hour power kit system. There are some specifications for your system, but you should look that up if you're planning on purchasing. But if you're considering the EcoFlow system, I would say that it is definitely worth it. It's going to do exactly what you need it to. It will power everything. You can purchase just a 1.5 kilowatt hour battery. It takes up to 3 batteries, but you can just purchase one at a time. So I started with one. They're about $5,000. Usually if you purchase something from their website over $2,000, you get $500 off. So you're pretty much always going to be paying $4,500 for these batteries each. But for the power kit itself, with the one battery, I think I paid over $8,000. It's easily going to power everything that you need, especially if you can still plug up somewhere to shore power before you start taking it all out somewhere where you're going to need to run that air conditioner for long periods of times. You're probably going to want to get that extra battery or two before you start doing all of that. 5 kilowatt hours is really a lot of power. There was some figuring out for me if I had to use a 12 volt, 48 volt, or 112 or like 120 volt appliances. I have the Dometic Penguin 2 air conditioner. It's supposed to be a 120 volt air conditioner, but it runs at 112. But the EcoFlow, it can't run over a certain amount of amps, so you have to get the 120 volt air conditioner. So again, making things easy. Got the 5 kilowatt hour power kit. I got the Dometic Penguin 2 and a refrigerator. I got the EcoFlow Glacier. EcoFlow makes different products. So the EcoFlow Glacier was about $800. It cools things down really quickly. It's well insulated, so it lasts a long time. It has an ice making function. The highest I see it run is like about a little over 100 watts, but not even for very long because that compressor doesn't need to be running constantly. EcoFlow Glacier is everything that I needed. So those are like the 3 main components that took up my electrical needs. In this video, you'll also see me working with the insulation. I think I mentioned in the last video, I got the 3M Thinsulate. I probably spent around $500. And the Intello Plus, most people don't do that, but it's just a vapor barrier to sit in between your walls. That and the tape was probably $250 together. You kind of have to get that special sort of tape to go with that. Because I think in the videos where the people were using this, they don't usually show this tape, but this tape is about $50. I got 2 of them for the van, and it should be plenty. Oh, and then the kill mat, obviously I talked about that. Probably spent like $150. I had to get more than I thought I needed for sure. I think it was like 6, 1x6s. For the furring strips, I got 1 inch by 3 inches, but for like the areas up here, I'm going to go a little bit wider to help me install those furring strips. There's a lot of me working with and trying to figure out the rivet nuts. I haven't seen anybody use the plus nuts, a little bit different, but just how complicated the rivet nuts have been, I would be willing to try the plus nuts if I hadn't already had the materials that I needed for the rivet nuts. 1/4 rivet nuts with the thread size of 20, so you would need the matching screws to go with that. Maybe if the rivets were a little bit bigger, then they would have like more give to them and they wouldn't ruin so easily. I feel like that might be the problem with a lot of the rivets that I was having issues with. I want to jump in here to say something I have been noticing with the rivet nuts. If your bolts aren't catching the thread or they're like wobbling in some kind of way, it could be that the hole that you're drilling through the wood, like with the drill bit, isn't big enough, or where you drilled the hole was like too far off where it needs to be, or like a combination of both. So what you could do is drill that hole just to be a little bit bigger to give yourself a little bit more of a margin of error. And then since it's not as stressed because it can move a little bit better, your chances of it screwing in will be a lot better. Another thing I've noticed with a rivet nut spinning, if it starts to spin, one thing you can try before you start to take it out is to put the rivet tool back in there and squeeze it harder. On the off chance, I just tried that recently. It wasn't that the rivet was messed up. It just either wasn't installed hard enough, or maybe like some of the metal shavings that was holding it there that shouldn't have been there fell out. Now there's more space, so it needs to be tightened down again. Try that out. Hopefully that helps. That's something I've noticed. Last thing I'll mention here is the flooring. I just went with vinyl, some waterproof vinyl. I feel like if I did the subfloor a little bit better, then it might have been a little bit easier, but also if I just knew what I was doing a little bit better as well, it would have been a little bit easier. So I think they're pretty good. It turned out great. There is some little spaces in between some of the vinyl pieces, but once the whole floor is together, it's not as noticeable. It is a pretty good material. I would still recommend it even after using it. But speaking of the floor, I did use a different insulation for that. That was no, I have a video on that, so I'll show that, which together took off an 1.5 inches. I was using 1.5 inch tall furring strips for the subfloor anyway. Soon after I installed it, I heard some squeaking like one time on like a hot day or something, or it's a cold day or something like that. And I haven't heard it since then. Like it doesn't squeak. It's pretty tight in there. I only glued it down in like 1 or 2 places, so I didn't do too much to ensure that it would never squeak. So you'll probably be good if that's the route that you want to go as well. The last tip I would take from versus the way I did it is to actually set all of your furring strips, like measure out the floor. Try not to get too OCD with trying to make sure all the boards fit into all the little grooves of the van. Like if you just do like a solid square at the front, go around the wheelbase, and then just like square off the back, it'll be completely fine. And also when you do that, put those furring strips on a solid surface, such as like a garage floor, and then screw them together. What I did was I tried to put them all in the van and screw them in together while sitting on top of the ribs of the floor. And so they were kind of shifting around. Some were just a little bit higher, some were a little bit lower than the other. I just feel like it would have been a little bit better doing it that way, and then bringing that framing into the van and then sitting it all down, because everything will be completely leveled off as it should be. It didn't turn out to be too much of a problem after I got all the vinyl in and everything, but I think it would have made me feel better, because that just seems like a lot more sturdy and official way to do it. But all turned out great. Yeah, first time van build experience, trying to do a lot of things, trying to figure out a lot of things. So let's enjoy some of the content, shall we? Here, quite the mess, but we got a whole bunch of stuff on here. All right, let's do a quick rundown. Electrical system, got the surge component or adapter. What even is that? Oh, this is the battery. Okay, and then there's the cord for the battery, the electrical power hub, EcoFlow 5 kilowatt-hour power hub. Just some trash. We got some of the insulation, that last part of the insulation, the Intello Plus in there. We have the Dometic air conditioner. It's so beautiful up in there. I got the Dometic Penguin 2 13.5 kBTU, and then in there's the mounting kit for it. Quick show of the sound deadening that I've got going on. Most of it is done. I'm waiting for a little spot right there to dry, because I took off one of those these factory pre-installed sound deadening materials, and it just like ripped the paint off with it. So I had to take that off, sand it, and then repaint it, and then I'll finish that one up. Got a little bit of the Thinsulate in there, but I want to show y'all this right now. So this is the pins right here were pretty hard to these pins were pretty hard to come out, but I was able to grab something and then like put something in between the thing here and then pry it straight out so that I don't damage this at the same time. So I still got most of those intact. I should be able to just kind of put it right back in there. But now that I got all those out, I pulled it down, put something heavy so it can stay down, and now I'm in this, I think it's the cabin area. And so I'm about to do a little bit of just put some sound deadening here. Hopefully this all works out exactly as according to plan. Unfortunately, this is my first time DIYing anything like this, so I'm not able to be exact in my shopping list of planning for everything. I would get super stuck and never accomplish anything, because I just like just be stuck in the researching process. So at some point, it's kind of have to order things and hope that it works out, and if not, try and make it work. Just like I did with the solar panels, because they're kind of going to be kind of too big, but not really. Like you can make it work. It's just not the best fit or the most professional look. But we're gonna try and make it look as good as we can. If it all works, then it's gonna be awesome. So wish me luck. So I literally just had the most ridiculous situation happen where I was trying to clean up this camera. I was trying to do a U-turn around here, and I was still rolling. I couldn't make the turn, so I was still rolling, and I put it in reverse. And then when I did that, I guess since I was still rolling, the transmission, it looks like broke. It's looks like all of that is a bunch of transmission fluid. So I couldn't drive the vehicle anymore, so I was just stuck there. I was stuck in the middle of the road. I was trying to call 911. Somebody was over there saying like, "You all good?" He came over here to help me push it out the road while all these cars were coming on to us, and he was up here pushing me and showing me how to use a seatbelt, to use that and the steering wheel for support, and to be pushing it at the same time while Luno is barking the whole time. And I'm like, now I'm just stuck here at in this parking lot, and it's like I can't really get it towed. Because I live in here. So I need to get it towed and figure out where I guess go see if I can get my my friend to pick me up, friend Mike to pick me up, and maybe stay at his place for a little bit until the car is actually fixed. But this is a pretty huge emergency, and I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but hope God be with me. Yep, so I did have to get it towed straight to a car mechanic shop that I happened to see in passing one day. I had to order the transmission on the spot. It was $8,000 plus, but on top of that, I was out of a home, so I had to go get a car rental to live in for about a week. You can see in these photos where the transmission just got completely separated from its mount. The only thing that was holding the engine onto the actual vehicle were a few cables that kept it from falling out completely. After a week, they did get the part, they did fix it, put it together and everything, but after a week, the alternators were making a weird sound, and I took that in to get looked at. It needed to be replaced. Cost me over another $1,000. So this whole thing just cost me over like $10,000. I kid you not, this happened not even a month into living in a van full time. And as I'm recording this here in April, it's been 6 months and I'm still paying for that to this day. Certainly the biggest financial crisis of my life, but all I could do was just try and pay it off bit by bit and just keep building the van out. So from here, let's just pick it right back up where we left off and try and fix the leak in the van. It is getting wet in here, so if you can hear it, it's raining right now if you listen really closely. Sounds so beautiful. I can't wait to be living in here and have the rain, and it's downpouring, and I'm watching a movie, chilling or whatever with the air conditioner going. Oh, it sounds so good. But right now we're thinking about this. That is actually a lot of water. It shouldn't be too hard to find where that's coming from, especially because it's so much. So I should be able to see exactly where it's pouring through. It's a little bit wet down there as well. Hopefully this is the main, if not or only issue. Actually no, I did see some water over here as well. Oh, here it is. Okay, so where's that coming from? Okay, that's a little bit close. Just trying to figure out where that's coming from, and then hopefully the fix should be just putting some sealant up on it. So there was a paper towel that I had stuck right there just to kind of soften it up, because when I was driving it was rattling a lot, making a lot of noise. So I put that in there and made sure that it closed shut. But since I've taken that out and it's been raining all day, this following day, I'm checking this again, and none of it is wet. It's not leaking through here. None of that's down there is wet at all. So I was like, so I'm thinking like if I could just figure out how to tighten that up so it doesn't rattle around as much, then I should be good to replace that thing on the outside and I'll leave that alone. All right, so I'm on the top of the roof and I'm trying to find where that leak was coming from. This paint and the adhesive that was there before is cracked a little bit. I've got a hose hooked up and I'm gonna start spraying the van. Have my friend help me out while one of us is on the outside spraying and the other one's on the inside seeing if they can find where that leak is coming from. That's coming in right through here. Oh! So the back was actually leaking a little bit, so I just used some of that butyl tape to fill in the gaps of the damage that was there. And for the other leak, I didn't record any footage, but I got on top of the van and used some of this Loctite marine adhesive and just put that in the cracks, and then I haven't had a leak since then. And next, we'll be getting into how I set up the air conditioner, set up the bed and deferring strips using the Rivet Nuts, and how I did my floor. There's literally no parts or instruction manual that came with it. Like, all they sent was like a piece of paper that says something about the warranty. And I'm just like, what about everything else? Like, literally, do I have all the parts that I'm supposed to have? What's going on here? Just over 14. This gets in the way. I'll wipe it off with some alcohol. Spray paint it on with some primer. Go ahead and put the white enamel on. So I sanded down the paint here so I'll make a better contact. And then I started doing some measurements. Once I get these pieces cut, I'm going to wipe this one last time with some alcohol and then stick some marine adhesives on the wood and stick it straight to the van. I'm sanding it bit by bit to just get it perfect. Yeah, look at y'all.
Ready? Oh, ready? Where are you turning?
Breathe.
Wrong way, this way.
What do you mean? This way?
Just don't drop it. There you go.
That's not what I said, the smooth side.
I thought we were gonna lift it upward like that. You were, that's where we got lost. It was her fault.
Yes.
I was there for more support and you weren't doing it. You don't got it. Down,
Okay, start
down.
slowly down. Slowly down.
Okay.
Junior! Yo! Can we get your help? It's 100 pounds. Okay.
Got it.
Thank you so much. I can't believe it.
She kept saying, oh, we don't have it. She
This is what I'm saying. God
This
is great. Because God ain't bringing it out.
I worked like 16 hours yesterday trying to get this up. It was a really complicated project. I've got these beams up here because I installed some pieces of wood and glued it, so I just got these beams supporting it so it doesn't sink while it dries, and I'll take these down. And then that helps with the frame because it'll be connected to that at some point. Well, what you looking at? Completely dry. And it is most definitely raining outside. This is not the only update. Not only does this work, not only did the butyl work, but also I've got the air conditioner running. It's working. It is working. I'm gonna clean up in here a little bit, keep organizing these, but once I'm kind of finished with this, then, and I've already got the floor sectioned up in 3 pieces, so once I got all that figured out, situated, I'm gonna take this battery, put it right here, lift this floor up, so just slide it forward, and then I'm going to start using the multi-tool to start scraping that silicone away. It's probably going to take off a bunch of paint and expose a bunch of metal, but I'll sand and prime and paint that, and then I'll do the same thing here. Put the battery back, slide this over here, work on that, and then do the same thing to the last one. And then once we're all done with that, I think I'll use some of these square 2x2s to do the floor and put some foam boards in between. So I just thought of a really good method to mark where these rivet nut holes should be marked out onto the wood. And drilled out. Instead of using Play-Doh, I've got butyl tape. Most people who are building the van are going to have butyl tape. So I had the idea to put tape on top of it and then press the wood up against that, allow it to form that depression. And you could even maybe use like the paint method on top of that, just so you can see for sure where it made contact. Not only is it making a depression, but you can see a little bit of white on the paint. And then you can reuse this. Put a little bit more butyl tape in here, rip off a piece of tape and slap it back on there. And then you can just have three or four of these, however many bolts you're putting in your board, and just set it on there. 1, 2, 3. Wherever you think it's going to line up with the nut. Say like I have one more right here and then another one right there. Just press it all up against there. Here's what it looks like. You can see that it's right, kind of like right here, and then right in the middle of one of those. You can see where it was. This one came out clean. You can see I would just drill straight through the wood, starting there, even here. I'm using M8 rivet nuts for these here. You get yourself a rivet tool, and that'll help you out a lot there. Okay, so the bed keeps falling off of this. Even though it can't go that way, if you're on the bed and you shift the bed at all this way, when this board bends, it shortens, because it'll get just a little bit shorter to where at some point it'll just pop out. So I think that means that it served its purpose for the temporary, but I'm going to actually start working on fixing everything that I was able to notice with this temporary location, and start working on the more permanent one. All right, guys, I have got most of the materials that I need to, I guess, just start putting the bed together. I know I'm still for sure missing the stoppers that are supposed to go here, like the little plastic bits, and the little screws that I think come with those. So this should be enough to go ahead and, like I said, start putting the bed together, the framing together. I have no idea what I'm doing. I think the brackets that are in here are usually kind of like supposed to go straight up against the metal, but I have all this wood here, and I spent a lot of time fixating that on there. So I'm wondering if it's going to be strong enough to screw these bits straight into the wood, however it goes, or if I'm gonna have to take this whole thing off, or I don't know really what's going to happen. So at this point, the only thing that I can do is just get started. So basically taking these bolts out. I took this bolt out to place this and screw it, so I could screw this into place. I found a bunch of extra screws that I had that fit this job perfectly. I'm gonna have to Velcro this and put Velcro across here so that the slats can actually stay on the beam.
3 weeks. Ooh, you think you got to me? All you did was use me, round and round we go. Trying to forget you, baby. I know everything that was about you. Now I'm joking, I'm looking for the bathroom. Round and around, yeah, round and around we go. Picture perfect, but so many flaws to stop you. I don't wanna ever see you in the same room. I open up and then you hit on all my issues. Round and around we go. We go.